Hey, what's going on, Nole Nation? It's CJ Wilson here with DoakTalk. Of course, I am your host. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, amazing day. My day is going great thus far as we have some breaking news on the recruiting trail. FSU lands five-star cornerback Chauncey Kennon out of Sarasota. Big time get for Mike Norvell, Tony White, and of course, Patrick Surtain, as you guys know, when it comes to cornerbacks and defensive backs from a recruiting standpoint. When Pat locks in on the guy, it's really hard for him to lose that recruiting battle. So really good job for those by those guys. But before we get started and get to the meat of the video, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video, subscribe to the Dope Talk community. We have more videos like this as far as breaking news. But again, huge win for FSU on a recruiting trail, landing five-star cornerback Chauncey Kennon out of Sarasota. FSU ended up beating the University of Georgia, University of Florida, University of Miami, LSU, and Oregon for the services of Keenan. So some big time hitters on a recruiting trail. It pretty much came down to an FSU and Georgia battle, in my opinion, for this one. From things I've been hearing, I know a lot of Gator fans were excited when he officially visited the University of Florida. They thought they had some traction there, but to be completely honest with you, this recruitment was always FSU's to lose, just by the intel that I received. So again, standing at 6'1", 175 pounds, really good get. And when I say it was FSU's to lose, the kid, Chauncey Kennon comes from a Seminole family. Been rooting for the Seminoles pretty much his entire life. His sister is currently enrolled at FSU and goes to school at Florida State. So when I say it was FSU's recruiting battle to lose, it was FSU's recruiting battle to lose. I know Gator fans, you guys thought you had a chance, a shot, things like that, whatever it may be, but it was all hype. Trust me. So again, really good gift for FSU. Let's get into Chuck as far as what he brings to the table. Like I said, he's standing at 6'1", 175 pounds. This kid is good in a multitude of ways. He can do it all. He plays receiver for the team, for his high school team, and also cornerback. Just sticking to the receiver side of the ball, he's a threat to touch the ball. He's a threat to score. Excuse me. Every time he touches the ball, big time athlete. He's a kid that can take a 10-yard gain and turn into a 50-yard gain. They use him for on three. They use him in a multitude of ways, deep threats as well, to exploit and take the top off the defense. From a cornerback standpoint, which was going to be his position at FSU, let's talk about how he plays off in his zone coverage. The kid has elite zone eyes. When I say elite zone eyes, he understands what he's looking at. He has eyes on the quarterback, eyes on the receiver, eyes on receivers that could be going into his zone. So those are the three things you need as a defensive back when playing, well, as a cornerback rather, when playing zone coverage. You got to have eye discipline. When I say eye discipline, you got to watch what receiver that's in your zone. So the number one or two receiver, whatever it may be, whatever receiver that's in your zone, you got to have eyes on him. You got to have eyes on the quarterback as well. See where the quarterback is looking, what side of the field he's looking at. You kind of dictate, or looking at the quarterback, you can anticipate where he's going to throw the ball. You also got to look for any type of threats that could be coming to your zone, whether it's the number two receiver, number three receiver coming this way or that way, crosses, whatever it may be. So you got a multitude of things you're looking at as a defensive back in zone coverage. The receiver that's currently in your zone, any threats that could possibly come into your zone, and of course you got to have good zone eyes on the quarterback. And he does a good job of that. Breaks on the football. There was one play within his huddle highlights where he played it perfectly, broke on the football, and ended up returning it for a pick six, interception return for a touchdown. So he's really good in that phase of football. Now let's go to the man coverage. How does he play man coverage and things like that? The kid has a lot of patience. When I say a lot of patience in his footwork, he doesn't get antsy when receivers are doing their thing at the line of scrimmage, trying to create separation and things like that. He's patient, lets the receiver do all the dancing at the line of scrimmage, and once the receiver makes their move, he's really physical and aggressive with his jam and hitting those receivers within the pecs of the shoulder or the pec as far as your chest carrying up to the shoulder. So he does a really good job in man coverage with that. And also, if he gets two hands on the receiver, which I saw him do a couple times in this film, it's pretty much over for the receiver. You could kiss the baby. Those guys are pretty much stopping dead in their tracks. And also, he does a good job of getting his head around and locating the football within man coverage. Prior to Patrick Surtain coming to FSU, that was a struggle for FSU defensive backs, just locating the football. As you guys know, Adam Fuller was a man-based. He had a man-based scheme. So with doing that, you have to, of course, play your coverage. But once the ball is in the air, you're in phase to play the football. You have to locate the football, and make a play on that. And Pat Surtain has done a hell of a job the last 3 years coaching our defensive backs to get in phase to attack the football. Chuck is already a natural at that. Keenan does that pretty good from what I've seen, and he also attacks the ball at the highest point. And last but not least, the cherry on top when it comes to defensive backs, cornerback specifically, he's physical and he's a willing tackler. If you look at his film, he makes a lot of tackles, and he's a kid that doesn't mind getting to the mix, throwing his weight around, and using his physical traits. Now, of course, on the he tries the big hit and uses his shoulder a lot. Of course, on the college level, that shit really can't. Well, excuse my language, but that stuff really can't fly due to the type of athletes you're trying to tackle on the other end, big time running backs, things like that. So if he gets coached up in regards to wrapping up in regards to making his tackle while coming with the contact, he would be okay. I really like this kid a lot. Really good get for FSU. From a defensive back standpoint altogether, you added a 5-star defensive back in Chauncey Kennon to a very good defensive back class, in my opinion. Of course, you have Darrell Bell and Tredarius Hughes, 2 4-star safeties from South Florida that's committed to the Noles, and also Sean Johnson, the kid from the DMV, 6 foot plus defensive back that does a hell of a job in press coverage as well. Fended off Penn State and the multitude of other Big Ten schools for his services. So you add in a Chauncey Kennon to the defensive back room that we already have, and you're looking at a really good defensive back room. FSU isn't done yet in regards to trying to add defensive backs to a stacked room. So again, shout out to Patrick Surtain, Tony White, Mike Norvell. Those guys locked in on their cornerback 1 for this recruiting cycle and got the commitment. And last but not least, he is from the Sarasota area. If you guys remember, a few years ago, FSU went into Sarasota and grabbed another 5-star cornerback in Charles Lester, and ended up being the University of Georgia, Florida, and University of Colorado for his services. So make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this commitment. Big time get for DBU. Go Noles.